Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to the ITEN training. My name is Obafemi Adegoke. I'll be your facilitator for this module, Cloud Computing with AWS. We're going to be together, hopefully, for the next 1 month. And before we go ahead, we would like to establish one or two ground rules to help us have smooth session. These are not draconian rules. It's just to ensure everyone enjoy uh, the class or the training. And since the classes are going to be recorded, we want to ensure that when you play back the class videos, there are no background noises or whatever can make it unpleasant. So the first rule is that this is the only class you're likely going to be seeing my face. Subsequent classes, I'll put it down. Even after this uh, introductory session now, I'll take it down so as to reduce the size of the class recording. One, I also want to encourage trainees to do the same. The only screen that is important for this training is the trainer's screen, or when I ask any of the trainees to share their screen, probably we are troubleshooting together, or I want you to show me one or two things on your screen, or you want to turn in an assignment and I want you to show me what you've done by yourself on your screen. All right, so the summary is the only valid screen is our learning environment, either my own AWS platform or your own AWS platform. The second rule is that while we are in class, I want to encourage everyone to kindly mute themselves. All right. We would not like background noises so that we don't make the class uncomfortable for every other person. So please mute yourself. However, while we are teaching, should you have questions, you can unmute and ask your questions. Or should I ask for feedbacks? You can unmute and give me feedbacks as well. So what that means is override the key that says you should mute yourself. At any point in time at all that you have questions, please unmute yourself and ask your question. I'm sure you have enjoyed this privilege as well during the Linux class. It continues in AWS class, even with other consultants. At any point in time that you have questions with what you are learning, as long as it is relevant to what we are learning at that point in time, please unmute yourself and ask your questions. This is a learning ground. There will not be stupid questions. I expect that we have a hybrid of trainees here, people with zero computer science background and people who are AWS ninjas, okay? Whichever background you have, we have designed this model to carry everyone along. And that means as a coach, I'll be patient with every one of us. So what that means is, while you are in class and we are teaching and you do not understand one thing or another, please don't say you're going to resort to the class video. The class video is for you to play back what you've learned in class, or if you ever miss a class, to go and watch. But if you are in the live class and you do not understand a thing or two, kindly step up. This is not the place to say they will laugh at me or you are ashamed of speaking up. If you've paid for this training, please optimize your money. Ensure you get good value for what you've paid. And the only value for me, as far as I'm concerned, is that you learn and your confidence is built that you've learned. And probably in the next 2-3 months, you're sharing your certification result with me that you've passed, just as I was reading one now before joining. That was why I did it actually. One of them posted on our I-10 alumni group that he passed his certification. Okay. But that's not even the goal for us at I-10. The ultimate goal is at the end of the boot camp, you get jobs, tech roles, because tech roles are there. The only space, the only gap here is that there are no people with core knowledge of what is required. And for you to have the core knowledge of what is required, you must have been in one of these classes, either boot camp with I-10 or any other boot camp out there, and you have properly been taught and understanding established. Okay. So I cannot overemphasize this. I want to plead with us. You're continuing with this training, ensure that what we are teaching you understand. If there's an component you do not understand, please feel free to ask the coach to repeat or to teach again. The first one, no training videos, not even coach video. The only screen you're going to see is our learning environment, which is on the AWS platform or any other environment you might be using, maybe your terminal, Visual Studio Code, all right? Mute yourself while we are in class so that background noise will not mess up our recording, just to ensure that we enjoy when we play back the class videos. 3, don't wait, unmute yourself if you have any questions, except I see that there are too many interjections during class. I can decide to say, all right, to ensure we have smooth training, let's learn for 15 minutes, take questions for 3 minutes. But if there are scanty interjections, I will oblige everybody, right? So these are the 3 ground rules that we have. It's just to ensure that we have smooth session together. Before we go on, is there any questions? Are there questions? All right, so everyone is good. Is that the feedback? Are we all cocoa?
Yes.
All right. So the next thing I think we should do is a bit of introduction. My name is Obafemi Adigoke. Like I've said, I shuttle between different places. I'm a digital nomad, actually. I can be offshore today working as a petroleum engineer, and I'm on another project in Nigeria tomorrow as a DevOps engineer. I have 4 years as DevOps engineer. I have 6 years as a system administrator, and I have 3 years as a trainer. Is it 3? I've been training for the I-10 since 2020, year of COVID. That's correct. Okay. And I think that's enough about me. I'd like us to take turn, your name, your background. Okay. If you are open to share with us your current discipline, please go ahead. But if you want to pass, no problem. However, please share with us your name, your background, and your expectation from this second module. What do you expect at the end of 1 month? Okay. I have Abdurrahman Sulaiman. Are you up? Do you want to unmute yourself and give us a brief introduction?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Abdurrahman. Yeah, in the US, I'm in Chicago, and currently work as an IT support specialist here in the US. And the past few weeks with Mr. Akin has been really mind-blowing. I've learned a lot, and I'm hoping this AWS classes is going to make it more clearer as to which paths to go. Because my intention is actually to step up my IT skills because I had a master's degree in communication, and I actually started my IT career a little over a year now. So, and I'm willing to, step it up, and go into top tier IT professions. And I'm willing this class and this opportunity is going to, make it easy for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abdurrahman. You're in the right place. Good to have you. Mr. Ayinde, please pardon me if I'm not using the right appellation. I'm just assuming by the name that's going to be a Mr.
Yeah, you are. You're right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ainde Ilias, an architect by profession. I'm living in New York City. Currently, I'm working as a construction inspector. Well, that's it for now.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Mr. Carl, can we have you?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Carl. I live in Virginia. I currently work as a cybersecurity analyst. Um, um, like Erasmus said, I've had a great time and learned a lot during the Linux class. I'm hoping to get the same experience here and also decide which direction I want to go with this. So I'm looking forward to a great class. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Erasmus. Are you up? I think he's busy. I have Ifina. Is it Mr. or a Miss? That sounds like a feminine name, but if it is not, please pardon me. Please go ahead. Can you hear us? You're on mute, but we cannot hear anything. Ifina, you're on mute, but we cannot hear you. Are you talking? Okay, we'll move on then. Mr. Joseph. Oh, all right, Mr. Joseph, that's taken. Please take care. Oluwabumi Gang. I'm not sure if I should place Oluwabumi as a Mr. or a Miss.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, my name is Bumi, Lagos, Nigeria. Background is I've done a lot of things. Operations tech analysis. I currently hold a role as a tech operations manager with a tech company here in Nigeria. Yeah, I was in the Linux class, new to it, but it was very what's the word, enlightening. It was easy to follow. It was a good class. It was a good class. Now AWS, I mean I think that's the core for which I actually signed up for this whole program. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you everyone for sharing with us a little bit about yourself and your expectations. So for from the feedback, some of us wants to know where to veer towards after this AWS, right? I am sure you will have a clear direction by the time we are done with AWS this month. However, as long as you are in tech, I should assure you that tech is a rewarding career and it does not discriminate. I've had pharmacists in my class, I've had doctors in my class, I've had veterans in my class, I've had accountants, I've had people from all different backgrounds, okay? And as much as I've had them, I've also had them as well went on to get tech roles, okay? And I've had people with computer science background, and then they are there 2, 3, 4, 5 months struggling, unable to get a tech role, either in person or a remote role. So from experience, this is what has distinguished some people that I know of. And some of them in one of our syndicate sessions, I'm going to invite them to come and share with us how they navigated it, all right? But this is what I noticed early enough, right from Linux class, because there are times that we start, the faculty lead engineer can ask us to go ahead and start Linux class ourselves. But early enough, I noticed an insane determination, right? The kind of determination that you know this person is really hungry and wants to get this thing, not people that just want to treat tech as a side piece, all right? I'm not saying you should let go of your current role or you should begin to be acting ineptitude towards your current role, but I'm saying that if you really want to take something out of tech, then you must put your back into it. I don't fail to share the testimony of the first person when I started to train for the I-10 in 2020. His name is Sam Adewale. He used to be an Uber driver in Texas. And then COVID struck. Can everybody hear me, please? This is just going to be an interactive session. Once we are done, we go.
Yes, we
I
are.
go introduce you to, oh, thank you. I go introduce you to the AWS platform, and then I'll check if everybody have their workstation ready. Since you've been learning AWS, sorry, you've been learning Linux, but you have been using AWS platform. I expect all of us have our platforms ready. Just one or two uh tweaking here and there, and then we are set for the next class. But this class is just to give us a familiarization tour and then ginger us for what is ahead, because it's going to be an absolute hands-on class. We are not coming to class to read literature. But I think this initial pep talk is always good so that trainees don't begin to sleep on what we are teaching here. By the way, for me, how I measure success is not trainees that come to say, oh, he's a good trainer, his patience is all of that, he answers questions. No, 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 no. How I measure success is how many of my trainees passed certification, how many of them are on the job. Okay, because that's the ultimate goal. So if I want to ensure that, I should also share my own beat in this my few years of consulting. I should share my own bit of how to get through. All right. And we are not coming to class to begin to give us bogus story so that you don't set unhealthy expectations. Okay. However, I know if we put our back into tech, tech is rewarding. So COVID struck in 2020. Everybody was staying at home across the entire world, not just in Texas. So an Uber driver, obviously, job is gone, isn't it? So his younger brother that he brought him into US, but a cybersecurity officer introduced him to the I-10. Like, he was the one that came after everything that became soft to share his story with me and to appreciate what we've done. So he said, in his words, he cannot boast of so much money that his younger brother have, and he's the one that actually brought in his younger brother. One. Two, he actually came into US as a master student, computer science master student for that matter. And then when they got to input-output interface, I don't know how many of us here in class used to fear command line interface, CLI. He ran and he left. And then he ditched the master's program, years down the line, hop from one job to another, ended up as a Uber driver. COVID started, nobody was moving anywhere, so there was no income, right? And then he came to I-10 class. I didn't know all of this until after about 6 months when he got the job. But one thing I knew about him in class is his determination is out of the roof. Sam Adewale is coming to class with a lot of Linux questions to ask me. So when I'm going to class, I know I want to go and face another heat. And because of him, he rubbed off on the rest as well, because you're like, is this the only guy? But he was asking questions that were relevant to knowing more on the course. All right. Linux ended, AWS, the same zeal, the same determination. You will go back and watch class video. If I go back to YouTube to see how many views I have on the private class videos, if I have 4, I am sure 3 out of that 4 views is from Sam alone. And this is a class of about 27 or so in that they are set. But I know this guy is determined. He put his back into it. He will practice. He will ask relevant questions. Okay. So I was not shocked after 4 months, after the boot camp. By the 4th month, he just came and shared his solution architect associate C02. It was C02 then, 2020. AWS discontinued C02 last year, August. It is now C03. They added more topics, yeah. He passed. And I was not even shocked. His colleagues were like, whoa, guy, this and that. But I know within me that this guy has a mission, because, I mean, that determination is just over the roof. And I don't know why he did it. The 6th month, that's 2 months after his training, he got a role, and then he was sharing with me that, okay, so the role was supposed to be for an X amount per annum, but because he didn't have some experience, okay, they reduced it by 20% and asked him if he's interested. He shared with his wife, okay, so the role required that he's going to leave Texas for New York. He shared with his wife, he was like, okay, what are you doing? Go. So they put him on another boot camp, but this time around within the company. All right. The boot camp was supposed to last for 4 months. By the end of the 1st month, they pulled him out of the boot camp. Like, this guy knows the basic thing we want to teach in this boot camp. That's because he was in our own boot camp. So they put him as an understudy. They call them pupillage engineers. To understudy another DevOps engineer. He was on that. He didn't complete the initial 4 months for the bootcamp because he was pulled out. So he was now probation for 6 months. By the 5th month, he had gotten an SRE role with Apple that required him to work from home. So he ditched that role, moved back home. By the end of 2021, he has 2 solid roles, both remote. Okay. In a set about 27, I know of 11 persons that got job. Okay. That might sound like not so good percentage, turnover percentage, but for me, I know this thing is a concerted effort. If a trainer has taught, it is on the trainee to go back and practice, build their own labs. They should be as voracious as whatever to read and digest, to devour class materials. All right. So my take on tech roles, especially for those of us that are coming new, is your determination, your hunger level will determine how soon you're going to break even. It is easy for those who are already in the system to switch roles, okay, because they now have companies they've worked for that they can manipulate the experience. Okay, so someone who has been working for company A as a system admin can decide to switch it that, oh, actually, I've been working for them as a junior DevOps officer. All right, but for those who are coming into the system, new entrants, I should tell you, you will need a lot of work to do. This is not to scare us at all. If you're ready for tech to learn Gaskia, I am ready as well to teach you, to support you in every form. Okay. So I hope that we all copy that and we are ready to put our back into it. Tech does not discriminate. When you are ready, it is ready for you as well. All right. So if you are here and you have missed one or two class videos in Linux, you might want to, after this meeting, go back, quickly watch that class video before the end of the week, because some of the things we've learned are prerequisites to what we're going to be learning in AWS. All right. And like I've started with, this is not the place to be ashamed of anything. All right. Ask your questions. Okay. If you're not even many, it's just about 7 of you. I've been in class of 27 and I know of this lady. She used to be a nurse and she would just not allow anybody to shut her down. She will ask her a question. All right. So I want you to be the person that cannot be shut down. Ask your question, but please ask relevant questions. All right. Uh, discussions around why Russia and Ukraine are fighting should not be in this class. Let's take it out. But while we are here, the 3 hours we have together, let's be judicious with it. All right. That's it. Any question before we move into the introductory session? Does anybody have any question? All right, we're good to go. Can everybody see my PowerPoint? Cloud computing, Amazon Web Services.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
am I audible enough? Do you think I'm going too fast? Let me know so I can adjust accordingly.
No, you're okay.
I'm good,
You're okay.
right?
Yes.
Thank you. So this module is going to be for cloud computing. I assume that we already know the drill, 3 hours per class. We'll take 10 minutes ergonomic break after the first 90 minutes, and then we'll come back to continue. 2 classes per week. So that's 6 hours in a week. Because of the number of topics laid down for us to treat in AWS, I might call for extra classes. So as we are holding class Tuesdays, Thursdays, I might ask us maybe by the second week if we can add 1 day to it. All right, just to ensure that we cover all that is necessary to be covered in this class. We're going to have a project at the end of this. We're going to be having assignments. Okay, I've been asking us to go and Gemba. I've been asking us to go and look up this, okay, or attempt that and share the feedback with me on our group, okay? So please brace for impact. Cloud computing with AWS. What is cloud? What is cloud computing? I'll share with you a story. So I was watching this parliamentary session of one of the countries in West Africa, and one of the House Committee, no, in fact, the House Committee chairman on information technology, they brought in a consultant to come and speak to them on to how safe to keep government files, databases, and all of that. Because in the light of many things happening, animals swallowing millions of naira and fire gulping offices, it's a good idea that they move things to cloud. And I was watching it on cable TV. I think I was in Doha, Qatar, but whenever I'm away from home, I try to watch home news. And this House Committee chairman, after the fine guy has eloquently presented why they should move all government files to cloud, said, what if it rains? What's going to happen to government files in cloud? I could see the shock on this guy's face. I mean, the consultant team that came to present to the House Committee, he was dumbfounded. What? So if that's the head of Committee on Information and Technology and does not understand what it means to work in cloud, he thinks they want to go and station a filing cabinet in the atmosphere 3,500 feet above the sea level. So I think this kind of introductory session is not only for those who are aspiring to move on in tech space, but even as a form of computer appreciation. So yeah, cloud does not mean that we are shooting files into atmosphere. And probably when you are flying someday, you're going to see cabinets in the cloud. No, it just means that you're working on something that can only be accessed over the internet. Okay. And after this explanation, some of us, we know that we've actually been in cloud long ago. So cloud refers to servers that are accessed over the internet. Softwares, databases that run on those servers as well. Cloud servers are located in data centers all over the world. So from here, it is suffice to say that if there are no data centers, there will be nothing like cloud. All right. So all those virtual machines you've been launching on AWS platform while you are learning Linux, the physical components of those instances are being held down in a data center somewhere. All right. To our Gmail account, Google has given everybody 15 gig free. Okay. The physical component of those 15 gig, of those 15 gig free network attached storage are being held down at Google Data Center. And you know that that 15 gig is not resident on your device, not on your phone, not on your laptop, not on your desktop. You can only access that 15 gig when you log in into your Gmail. And you can only log in into your Gmail if you have internet, irrespective of where you're logging in from your phone or from out of town. So cloud means servers, the software on those servers, the databases connected to those servers, applications running on those servers that we, however, access over the internet. That is cloud. All right. So therefore, what is cloud computing? It's a technology that uses the internet for storing and managing data on remote servers. And the pioneer of that cloud computing is AWS. So when we use cloud, you and I, we don't have to provision, manage, buy, configure, assemble, commission physical servers. Okay, everything we need is available in cloud. All right, and the beauty is enormous. I must tell you, it is enormous. So what are the features of cloud computing? Resources pooling. So this introductory session is needful so that when we begin to see some of the services we will learn in AWS, I will still recall to some of these things we're talking about now. Okay. So one of the features or some of the features of cloud computing is what we see here, resources pooling. So cloud providers pool computing resources with the help of a multi-tenant model. Multi-tenant model, meaning that you have on one block of storage, you can have about 100 organizations or 100 AWS accounts. Okay. And it will be sufficient for everybody. All right. So I like to use this analogy over the years. Say that there is an estate, and within the estate, there are 10 flats. Okay. And they need water. Two possibilities. The estate management either sink an industrial borehole, just one industrial borehole, and supply water to all the 10 flats, or each of the flats sink their own boreholes. Okay, so the one that supports cloud computing is having an industrial borehole sunk in that estate, and then water pipeline lead to each of the 10 flats. Resources pooling, they will only be servicing one pumping machine. All right. There would not be so much noise or generation of waste within the estate. Unlike when we have 10 pumping machines, if there's power failure, then you need alternative to power, which could be solar or it could be generating set or anything. Okay. Then you will need visit of 10 persons to come and be servicing these things, maybe biannual or periannual, however. But when you have just one industrial borehole, it reduces the ripple effect of whatever can happen. Okay. It is also possible that some of the households within the estate do not even have enough funds to sink a borehole, but they have enough to pay for what they will use within that period of time. Some may even have the money, but that is not their house, not their permanent house. Okay, they're there on rental. How would they now commit such capital project to a house that is not theirs? They only want to what? Pay for what they use. So these are the importance of cloud computing. Instead of us thinking about buying gigantic servers, having to build a structure and then put server rooms, put AC there, okay, employ people as server administrators, also employ security officers, because since once you have people working in a building, then you will need other auxiliary staff, cleaners, drivers, food vendors, all of that. But with cloud computing, it has removed all of that. You need a server, go to the AWS platform, go and launch the server. Put your application on it, set it up on DNS 53 before you know all your customers. And you do not have one single physical storage like this. Everything is in cloud. And you're only paying for what you're using. Okay, and by tomorrow you choose to decommission, you do not want to go on with the application or the company is going under, you will not be burdened with, okay, so how do we dispose all these servers? Okay, what do we do with the building? No, you just release everything back to the cloud platform. All right, so with that analogy, I have covered resources pooling, I've covered on-demand self-service. Okay. You only ask when you need it. So it is not like you are asked to buy a physical server, and by the third and the fourth or the fifth month, due to some government regulations, you could not work. Okay, but your servers are there. The staff you've employed, you must pay them. But if it is in cloud, you can just stop the servers temporarily for whatever reason you need to. Okay. Easy maintenance, because you're not the one maintaining it. The cloud platform owner are maintaining for you. Large network area. When we get into AWS account, I'm going to show us AWS have region in virtually every continent, not virtually, what do I mean? Virtually all the continents on this planet, they have region. Okay, so you can, from the comfort of your house in Oklahoma or Nevada, wherever you are, and launch a server for your customers in China without having to step out of your house. Okay, these are possibilities that 2, 3 decades ago, it's not possible. You need to serve customers in Asia to reduce latency, then you must find your way to Asia. Because the closer the infrastructure are to the people accessing them, the lower your latency, which is a desired uh, characteristic of any solid server. All right. I think I should say here that for those who are new to tech, if there are some words you hear me use, kindly ask me to repeat. All right. So there are some dictions, some tech jargons that you may hear. And if you've not heard it before, please feel free to cut in and I will explain what it is. Automatic system, it is economical, security, pay as you go. All these are the features of cloud computing. Let's move on. Architecture of cloud computing. We have the front end and we have the back end. The front end, we also know as server side. The back end, we also know, sorry, please. The front end, we also know as the client side. The back end, we also know as the server side. And what connects the client side, which is the front end, to this server side, which is the back end, is the internet. As simple as that. There will not be need for too many grammars. Okay, let's move on. I hate to come to class and teach literature, but this initial class is always valid. After many months of teaching, I know it's important to discuss them. Some of the components, let's talk about it. Client infrastructure is part of the front end that provides GUI to interact with the cloud. Anyone knows what GUI is? Where are our IT ninjas? GUI. Are we together in this class?
Interface.
Say that again, sir.
Graphical user interface.
Thank you. Graphics user interface, GUI.
Okay.
All right. Why the other one is what?
CLI.
Thank you, sir. CLI, command line interface. All right. So the GUI where you interact with the backend of the cloud computing platforms. That's the client infrastructure. So your AWS management console, that is the customer side. That is the end from where we are able to interact with every other thing at the back end of AWS platform, which we are not seeing, only AWS programmers, developers, and DevOps guys, okay? Application may be any server or platform that a client wants to access, okay? Just as we have, did you guys run any projects? Did you deploy a web server in Linux? Did we deploy any web server, say Apache 2 or HTTPD? Oh, HTTPD, that's beautiful. Okay. Question like this might be a pointer that some of us are missing out on class videos. I want to encourage and beg you, please watch class videos. So these applications are also part of what is at the back end of the cloud computing platform. Service. A cloud service manages the type of service that can be accessed as per the client's requirement. There are three distinct service categories when it comes to cloud. We have software as a service, SaaS, platform as a service, PaaS, infrastructure as a service, IaaS. Now that takes me to our first assignment. Please find me what is IaaS, infrastructure as a service, what is platform as a service, and what is software as a service. And I would like to know the difference between these three service categories. Do you copy? Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
All right, thank you. Let's move on. So we have a basis of discussion in our next class, but not so much, but from our next class, we jump into hands-on. Runtime provides the execution and runtime environment for the virtual machines. Storage, which is a very important component of cloud computing platform. Huge capacity of storage in cloud for data. Okay. Sometimes last year, Elon Musk says he's going to the moon to put a data center in the moon in case the entire of the earth catches fire. So I was wondering if everybody is gone, what do you want to do with data center that is in the moon? Infrastructure, cloud infrastructure services on three levels: the host, the application, and the network level. Some of these things we're going to be seeing. This includes both the hardware and the software components, like the storage, the servers, the networking devices, the virtualization softwares, type 2 hypervisor. Those are virtualization softwares like your Oracle VirtualBox, like your VMware, and all of that. Okay. Management is for the management of cloud computing components and establish blah, blah, blah. Security is part of the backend and inbuilt. Of course, security is internet. See the internet here, this cloud, okay? You are able to access this backend from this customer side, client side through this internet, okay? I don't want to dwell so much on all of this. What are the advantages of cloud computing? Backend and restore data, backup and restore data, please. Backup and restoration, a piece of cake once the data is in cloud, of course. Improved collaboration, make it easy to quickly share information via shared storage, that's correct. Excellent and wide accessibility. Quickly and easily access stored information from anywhere, correct? I mean, imagine the possibility of cloud that you traveled without your computer, you go to where you are going, discover that you left your even handheld device at the airport lounge from your takeoff point. And then the presentation slides you need at the conference you are going, you have by chance sent it into your cloud storage, say Gmail or iCloud. What do you need? You just need access to the internet, you log in into your cloud, and then you download your presentation slides and then you're smiling again. Low maintenance costs. I've explained to us with the analogy of the industrial borehole. You're paying less, right? In those days when we use fewer topics to discuss in the AWS, I used to open up discussion here. There was this guy that engaged me that no way can on-premise storage be expensive than storage in cloud or even computing in cloud. This guy is of the opinion that to have your servers, your storage devices on-premise is way cheaper and easy to manage than to have them in cloud. He used to be from Egypt until one day he called me and said, wow, could it be that cheap to have edge centers in AWS? I say, share with me, what do you find out? He explained that as he speaks now, he works in a cinema company that they move things around the internet, that they are ditching all of their on-premise storage across Egypt to AWS cloud. And I told him, I said, do you even do that? AWS does not even have as at then data center in Africa yet. Imagine what they now have in Africa, how cheaper it will become. All right. So there's nothing you want to tell me. Cloud computing is way cheaper than having your facilities on premise. Okay. Except if you are not that mega corporation. Even at that, let's leave that. Mobility or cloud data is easily accessible. Services is pay per use, unlimited storage capacity. If you want to store the entire planet Earth, AWS have the capacity. So also is Microsoft Azure. So also is Google Cloud, GCP. I don't know about other cloud platforms, but you see these three, they have the super capacity. So if the whole Earth turn to data, they will store all of us. Disadvantages of cloud computing, of course, no internet, no access. Vendor lock-in. As different vendors provide different platform, it can cause difficulty for organizations to move their services from one cloud to another. That's true. Okay, so what represents virtual machine in AWS is called instances, and it is called VMs or Microsoft Azure, while it is called cloud machine and cloud server in GCP. Okay, so you will have the base URL, the base server. However, the extent to which the services or the roles these virtual machines can perform on these platforms are different from one platform to another. So you cannot wake up and say you want to migrate your server on AWS to a virtual server in Azure. Possible, yes. However, not all the services you enjoy on AWS will be available on Azure. I'm not saying one is better. I'm saying that their configuration are different. Okay. You will not be able to function as it will function on AWS. It might have better features, but it might just be that one of the key features that makes it good for you is what you're leaving behind. All right. Limited control. Cloud users have limited control over the functions and execution of services within a cloud infrastructure. That's true. I want to use an analogy with cars. I think new generation cars will allow you to save to set sitting configurations. So if a short person enters a Maybach, Mercedes, you are able to set it and save it. Okay. If that same person goes into another brand of car, you may be able to set it, but not save it. Okay. So it means that Another person goes there, sets his own. You come back, you have to reset again. All right. So there are some features that it is only available because they've provided for it. All right. You might want a server that will allow you, or that will allow your customers to stream a football match live. If the cloud computing platform you subscribe to does not have that feature, your control is limited. That's what I'm trying to say. Then security. Security is not it's not a disadvantage for me as far as these top cloud computing platforms are concerned. All right. Computing models, public cloud, private, and hybrid. When we say public cloud, your applications in public cloud would reside on a shared infrastructure. Okay, at the data center, where the physical component of your storage is being held down, they may probably be putting 4 other persons with you on, let's say, 50 terabyte of storage. But it does not mean that because you coexist, you will share sensitive information with the other tenants. No, there is complete isolation, but still know that it is a shared tenancy. All right. Private cloud is not really different from public cloud, only that they have better security features and they are even expensive than public cloud. All right. So in private cloud, your infrastructure server, we have just your applications. They're not sharing you. You are completely isolated from public cloud servers. That's not to say you cannot have 1 or 2 private cloud subscribers. You will, all right? So outfits like Pentagon, outfits like MI5, outfits like KGB, what kind of cloud model do you think they are using? Are we together? Do you know these outfits? Pentagon, MI5, KGB.
Yep.
Do you
Yep.
think
Yep.
they are on public or private cloud?
Private.
Excellent. Because of what they are dealing with, right? We know they deal with national security issues. Okay, so they are on private cloud. We have hybrid clouds. It's a combination of public and private. Provides functionalities of both public and private clouds. Okay. Banks, many of them are on hybrid clouds. Like the database of their customers on private cloud. Okay. But then the applications on public cloud where the public can access them. Okay, and information about themselves as well. All right, let's move on. Okay. Some applications in cloud, business apps like Salesforce, data storage and backup applications like Dropbox, like iCloud, education apps like Udemy, Coursera, entertainment apps are there, management apps like SAP, Peachtree. So top cloud computing vendors, AWS, the pioneer. All right, Microsoft is trailing behind. They are trying. We also have Google Cloud Platform. I even heard, but I've not confirmed it, that Google might actually displace Microsoft on the 2nd position, but I don't know how true that is. There are other ones like Oracle Cloud, Alibaba. Kubernetes now have their own cloud as well. Red Hat also now have their own cloud, even Terraform. But I'm not sure if those clouds are open to the public as much as these first 3 are. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to AWS. I'm going to share this slide with us for knowledge sake. All right. Will there be any questions before we move on? Any questions from what we've been saying so far?
None for me.
All right, thank you. So I think we can take 10 minutes break now. Ergonomic break, please. Get up, stretch, take water. All right. And when we come back, I come to show us around the AWS console management. I confirm if we have installed some things. If we haven't, I show us how to do the installation. And then we'll go and get ready for proper learning, immersion when we come back to class. All right. So let's take 10 minutes break now, please. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Can we continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. I want to believe everybody have their AWS account set up. Is that correct? All right. So let's talk about AWS accounts. Management console. When you log in into your AWS management console, this is the interface it takes you to, the console home. Everything here is what we refer to as GUI, the graphics user interface. All right. And this is the screen where you can see where to click, you can drag down, you can move, you can highlight, because you will see graphics here. The other interface is the input-output interface, which is also referred to as CLI, command line interface. All right. So from anywhere you might be on the AWS platform, you want to go to your console home, look at the icon at the top left corner, the AWS icon. It takes you to your console home. All right, the next thing that we should know is the one besides it, which is services. All right, it has 9 square boxes. If you click on the services icon, there's a drop down showing you the heading of AWS services available on their platform, a lot of services. And under these services, there are other subtitles. Okay, so under analytics, we have Athena, AWS Clean Rooms, Cloud Search, AWS Data Exchange, Data Pipeline, all of that. Under the application integration, we have Amazon App-Flow, simple notification service, simple queue service, and all of that. So these are all the services AWS have on their platform. Okay. Obviously, we cannot go through these services in 1 month, even when we are meeting every day. Not to talk of when we meet 3 times, twice, or even 3 times per week. So there are selected services. And why have we selected these services? These are the topics that we will have thorough hands-on. Okay. They are also topics that are being tested for when if you decide to write a certification. Right. Okay. And I think at the end of this class, I'll talk about certification, but let's just move on. And then these are also the services that will aid your learning if you decide to further in a DevOps. 1 and DevOps 2. Okay. The list of the services we're going to be looking at, I'll share with us in the onboarding message. Okay. This class is for everyone, those who have paid and who haven't. However, there's always an onboarding package I normally share with trainees that pass through me. You will see all the list, but I can assure you there's a lot for me to say you would need extra class. So that's where you find services, okay? The one you've been using all along is under compute, and that is EC2, okay? You do not know under which of this topic you have the service you're looking for. Type it inside the search pane here. Let's say we are looking for Route 53. Route 53 is under content, network and content delivery. But if you do not know, okay, this is where you find Route 53, network and content delivery. But if you don't know where it is, just come and search for it here. Okay, and when you do, it takes you to the services. Okay. Another thing you can also do is when you're visiting the service for the first time, say it's your first time of visiting let's say AWS backup, for instance, okay, or DJ Neptune, for instance. There is the star icon before it, okay. It helps you to create a bookmark. It helps you to bookmark that service. So you might be wondering how I have all these ones in my own and you do not have any. Okay, it's just to go to where the services are and then bookmark it. Click on the star icon saying that, okay, I want it to be a favorite visit. It will set a bookmark for you on your console home. That's it. The icon next to the search pane is the cloud shell. All right. There are about 5 ways you can interact with the AWS platform. GUI, command line interface, CLI via the Cloud Shell or the AWS CLI, command line interface. GUI is graphics user interface, please. I beg your pardon. Then there is the API, application programming interface. There is the SDK, software development kit. You can integrate this kit with your AWS platform. And so these are the ways you can interact with your AWS platform. Everything we are seeing here now from the GUI, if I click on the Cloud Shell, it takes me to the input output, which is the CLI interface in the AWS console. Okay. For you to be able to access this Cloud Shell, you first must have signed in using the using your username and password to sign in. Okay. But there is also command line interface that you would not need to go through the Cloud Shell here. You just need to install Amazon CLI on your system's terminal, either it is Mac OS terminal or Microsoft or Windows Cloud Shell or your Linux shell prompt. Any of these operating system terminals, you install AWS CLI, you only need to log in with your programmatic access. I'll show us as from next class how we can generate programmatic access for our IAM users. All right. Now it is important. Anyway, when we get there, I'll talk about that. Let's stick with Cloud Shell. So this is it. I want to access, I want to see all the EC tools I have in this place. I'll just say AWS EC2 describe instances. If there is any, it will show me. If there is none, it will show me. Okay. Okay. My instances is not correct. Instances. Yep. So this is showing that there are no instances here. Are there VPCs? AWS EC2 describe VPCs. Okay, so there is a VPC that is showing us. So I can come here and access VPC from the GUI, and I also can access VPC from the CLI as well. I'll also be sharing with us the common CLI cheat sheet commands that will make life easy for us when we begin to interact with our AWS platform from the command line interface, especially when we get into Terraform infrastructure as code. So that's that about the Cloud Shell. Let's move on. Any questions so far, please? Hello, everyone. Any questions so far? If there is none, let's move on. Here you will see notification icon, looks like a bell. If AWS wants to notify you, you're going to find it in this place, as simple as that. The next icon, a question mark in a circle, is support. This is where you write to AWS in case you have any challenge concerning your account. Okay, support center. There are also documentations. There are free trainings on some of their services. Okay, here at the support center. Okay, one of our trainees joined us in last year. I think no, not last year. Early this year, December, January. Yeah, either January or February. Early this. He has actually he joined November last year. Excuse me. But for one reason or another, he could not continue. So he stepped down, saying that he's going to rejoin again. So he now joined back February this year. And he was learning, she's been learning a lot of that has been happening until June. The two daughters had to go to school, and they school outside the country. So she traveled with them, not knowing that she had provisioned some infrastructure on the AWS platform. Cut the long story short, by the end of last month, AWS has charged a total of $450 something. That's cumulatively, that's accrued over the month since May, June, July, August, and September. So she said she thought it was her shopping that was taking the money, not until she logged in into AWS. And then she saw what she has been charged for services she didn't use. So she reached out. We came to support. We wrote support on our own account. Okay. And thank goodness, all the charges was applied back to our account because AWS was able to establish that, okay, truly she was learning with the platform. She now knows what to do so that she will not be incurred charges. To realize that she has not been making profit from those whatever, because she has been learning with the platform. Okay, and they applied the upfront and something dollars back to her credit card. Okay. Now I've done that for two other persons before her. The second person, half of what he was charged was applied. The first person, nothing was applied. So please, don't let this story encourage you to begin to leave your infrastructures on or to go outside of the free tier on AWS platform. All right. So as long as we are together and as long as you stick your color within the line, you probably will not incur exorbitant charges. However, there are some charges that are inevitable, especially when we get to some services. Okay, in DevOps, for those that are coming to DevOps, you will have to incur very negligible, less than $10, but then money is money. All right, so you can also contest charges if you think you have been wrongly charged. You can contest them. You convinced the admin that is assigned to your case well enough, they apply all the charges back. The next icon outside beside the support is region. So AWS have regions. Regions are geographical mapping. Okay. In US, they have 4 regions. Okay, they've divided the US into 4: US East 1 and US East 2, US West 1 and US West 2. Okay, so region is a cluster of countries within either cluster of states or cluster of countries, because the entire African region now is a cluster of countries in Africa. Okay, but in US, a region is a cluster of states. So it could be cluster of country or state, or provinces for countries that uses provinces. Okay, and within region, we have what we call availability zones. Availability zones are physical geographical locations. Okay, regions are logical clusters. Okay, availability zones are physical geographical locations under regions. Okay, so there is US East. There are 6 geographical locations in US East 1, North Virginia. It is the largest on the AWS platform. Okay, at least these regions you are seeing here, they have minimum of 2 AZs, geographical locations. Some have as much as 6, some have 4, some have 1. Sorry, some have 3, some have 2. Okay, and the essence is so that your applications that you are deploying on the AWS platform can always, I mean, always be available. Okay, there were times early in this year that US US West 1, I think US East rather, Ohio region was engulfed. I think a fire outbreak or something, and it affected the data center in Ohio region. They simply moved people to another availability zone still within that region, and life moved on as though nothing happened. That's the beauty of coming on platforms like AWS, where they are large. Besides the region is where you can have access to your account. You will see your account ID here. Okay, in your account, you can click on it and then you see your account details, your credit card details, all of that. Organization, service quotas, security credentials. Billing dashboard is one important place I need to show you here. Okay, so you are informed that you have used 80% of your free tier this month, and then you are not sure of which of the services have you provisioned that is using up your free tier like that. Just come to the billing dashboard. You'll be able to see the services that you are using currently that might be what's taking up your space. So this month, I've incurred $5.70. Last month, I paid total of $33. Okay, if I come to bills here, if you click on bills, all right, billing period October 2023, you can drop down and select the previous month. And then you can see what you've been billed for in the previous month. All right, so this is my total what I paid AWS last month. Okay, and that's because I use my platform heavily, both for production, consultancy, and teaching. All right. Some months it goes as high as $100. Okay. Now, for you, within the first 365 days, 1 year, you have access to free tiers. However, these free tiers have limits. You go beyond the limit, you will be charged. So I want to implore everyone to please stay within the limit of the free tier. Okay, there are services that we're going to be learning. I'll be telling you, if you leave this service to run more than 1 hour, you will be charged. So as you're practicing, you're done practicing, you delete or you terminate or you release the service. Okay. But if you slip off, you might wake up to discover you're owing, although not to put fear in our hearts, they are just very small. If I show you what made me incur this $33.62, you will shout because it's a lot of provision that I am doing. Like I'm running DevOps pipeline. Okay. And so all the 6 servers I'm using for that DevOps pipeline, I never shut them down one day in the past 2 weeks. And I have elastic IP address on all of them. Okay, so it is still cheap as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so don't see this and think maybe this could be you. No, it will not be you if you stay within line. So I think that is that about the AWS platform. What we are coming to learn next from our next class is we'll start with the first topic, which is IAM, Identity and Access Management. We were going to be creating users and then user groups, give permission to users. And after we've learned IAM, I expect that henceforth, nobody is going to sign in into their AWS account as a root user. You will be signing in as an IAM user. It is safe that way. Is there anybody in this class who is signing into his or AWS account as an IAM user? Or we are all signing in as root user?
Sign as root.
Root, okay. So it is unsafe because if you Slack, you can release your root credentials. And if anybody have access to your root credentials, it is very, very dangerous. The person can do and undo. So I'll show you how to come into your AWS account and sign in as IAM user so you can preserve your root credentials. All right. We are done with the second phase of our familiarization today. Any questions before we move on? All right, so can everybody please log in into their computer and then pop up your terminal? If you are using Mac OS, show me your terminal. If your computer is running on Windows, open your command prompt or you open your shell prompt. If your system is running on Linux, please go to your shell prompt as well. Sorry, if you're using Windows, open your command prompt or your PowerShell. Those are the two terminals on Windows. There could be others like Git, Bash, like Windows subsystem for Linux, but the two Windows terminal, it is either command prompt or PowerShell. There's terminal for iOS. There's also terminal for Linux, which is prompt shell. If you have done that, give me thumbs up. Give me thumbs up. All right. So you can see my terminal. Can you see my command prompt? Hello, everyone.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, so I want you to run this command, AWS CLI -version. Okay. So do that and let me see. Mine is saying AWS CLI version is not known. Let's see this.
Hi, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think I'm gonna have to restart my PC. My CMD is not running for one reason or another.
Try PowerShell.
It's not running as well.
Oh, okay, you probably might need to restart your PC, truly.
Yes, I'll jump back in a minute.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
So let's try the command AWS -version. That's what I need you to check. Please run AWS space -version on your, either if your PC is running on Linux, try it on your shell prompt. Windows, try it in your PowerShell or your command prompt. Mac OS, try it on your terminal. Let everybody share with me what the feedback is. The command is this. AWS -version. AWS -version. Look at it on the screen, please. All right, okay, let me just type it in the chat. AWS space -version. Tell me, what is it saying to you? Mine says I have AWS CLI 2.11.26, and it also comes with Python 3.11.3. Okay, Mr. Joseph, the term AWS is not recognized as the name. It means that you do not have the AWS command line installed in your system. How about others? I want everybody to do this. Okay, this is where no recognize, you also don't have it. All right. Who else? AWS -version.
I'm getting the same result as Joseph.
All right, so let's all move together and then install command line on our PC. So I need you to go to Google and search for AWS CLI 2. Can you see my screen, please? Can everyone see my screen? All right, so please go to Google and search for AWS CLI 2. The link you see that says install or update the latest version of the AWS CLI, that's our link. Okay, ensure it is aws.amazon.com, please. Don't go and click on what will introduce spamware to your PC. So if I click on the link that says install and update, it takes me to the documentation where I will be able to download. So I want to download. You scroll down, AWS CLI install and update instructions. Either your PC is running on Linux operating system, or it is running on Windows, or it is running on Mac OS. Please click accordingly. Mine is running on Windows, so I'll drop down Windows and then look at the link here. Look at the link. It says download and run AWS CLI. So I'll click on this link, and then the download has started automatically. All right. If your PC is Mac OS, expand the Mac OS, okay, and then come and follow this. Look at it in your browser, download the Mac OS package, click on that. Once you download, go ahead and run it, okay. If you're using Linux, there are steps to follow. If you are using Linux, the first thing is copy this Linux call command. Is going to install Amazon Linux to zip folder. Then you say sudo.aws install. It's as simple as that. Okay. So I need someone to share his or her screen so I can follow this update. Let's see what we are doing. Is anyone connected that wants to share his or her screen? I do not like code class, please. Let's interact. Who wants to share their screen?
Okay, so I just joined back. Did I miss anything?
We want to install AWS CLI on our system. Do you have it on your system? Anyone wants to share their screen? All right, so if nobody's sharing screen, give me updates when you are able to download, and also let me know when you are able to install. Okay, I think that's probably the end of class today. It's just a familiarization point. So, uh, okay. So we continue class on Thursday. If you have made payment for the class, kindly share your proof of payment with me privately. Don't put it on the group page, or you can share with Engineer King and ask him to share with me so that I will send you a Google form. It takes less than 10 seconds to fill the form. All I need is your name, your email, preferably Gmail account. All right. And that's all. Because this is the only class video that will be public. Subsequent class videos are going to be shared privately, and they are tied to that email. So it means you will have to sign in into the email with your, signing into YouTube with that email before you are allowed to watch the class videos. They are not downloadable, so don't attempt to download them. All right. And other class materials will also be shared via our email. I will send us an onboarding message. Okay. And then this class link will not be valid from Thursday. Okay. I would have shared the real class link with everyone that sent their payment proof to me. And I also filled the Google form. So don't just send me payment proof. As you send the payment proof, I reply with the Google form. Please go ahead and fill the form so I can collect your email and send you the onboarding message. All right? I have a principle. Once I'm in class and I start teaching, That's not the time I want to respond to training coming to ask where is the class link, this and that. For the sake of those who have followed simple instructions to be in class, that is my own way of encouraging them to say, all right, for following instructions and doing the needful in time, I will not I will not interrupt your learning session. Neither will I allow any other person to interrupt their learning session. So I want to plead with us. Let's do the needful when we are asked to. When you receive the Google form, please fill it. When you receive the Zoom link as well, register so you can send you, and also add it to your calendar so you can get reminder. The Zoom link you will receive will be the one we will use throughout this month. It will not change. So please don't come next week Tuesday and be asking for another link. It is the same one we sent to you. And if it ever changes, I will communicate ahead of time. All I just want is for us to have smooth and pleasant learning session. Nothing beyond that. Okay. And if we cooperate, I also will cooperate. I promise you that. All right. So before we go on, has anybody been able to install? Once you download the CLI, run it. If you run it successfully, go back to your PowerShell or your terminal and run the command AWS space -- version. It should tell you that you now have a particular version of AWS CLI on your terminal, just as you are seeing on my own terminal. I would love that someone would share their screen, but nobody is responding. So I will rely on the fact that you are doing it as I'm saying it, because we will need it in class.
Screen sharing is after disabled, so nobody can share.
I can't hear you, sir.
Screen sharing is disabled.
Of course, because I didn't hear anybody that wants to.
I think someone wanted to share screen, but they already put it that they can't share. If you click on share screen, it's going to
No, the
say,
reason I asked was so that I could give the person, I could make the
right?
person a co-host. Who is the person?
Oh,
Nobody said anything, or did I miss it?
yeah, someone said something on the chat
Where?
section.
Oh no,
After
don't do the
the,
chat for this class. I've been saying this. Don't do the chat. You need to know something in class as you are live here. Please unmute yourself and cut in. Okay, because most of the time I don't go to chat, so I don't get distracted. All right, Oluwabumi, done installing. Okay, let me give you the permission then. I'm sorry. I like that you are trying to follow.
Sorry, Mr. Obafemi.
Please go ahead, sir.
Good evening. It's Joseph. So I haven't been participating like through audio because I'm still at work.
Oh yes, I
You
saw
know,
your chat,
yes.
Mr. Joseph.
So, but usually I like to participate through audio. But
Okay,
yeah, but in the meantime, I'll just keep going with the chat, please.
no
If you
problem.
can just repeat just for today.
No problem. Yours is
All right.
understandable. Yeah, I know you said you're at work. Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Miss Gang, do you want to share your screen now? You are now a co-host. Please go ahead. Oh, no problem. If you're not doing audio, just share your screen and show us what it's telling you when you run AWS -- version. We're not seeing your timing. Okay, you downloaded it. Did you run it after downloading? I can see it downloaded, but have you installed it? If yes, then go to your terminal. I'm only seeing your download folder. You're not sharing your entire screen. Okay. Well, let me do it this way. Is there any person who is finding it difficult to install CLI 2? It seems everybody has installed it.
No, I missed that part when I left the class.
Oh, okay. So please go to Google. All right, so can you run the command? Beautiful, finish. All right, so run the command AWS hyphen version. Yep. So it means close this shell prompt, open it again. Okay, so reopen it. Mr. Abdurrahman, please give me a moment. Let's follow through with this. So run the command now. Perfect. So you have AWS CLI installed on your PC. That's it. Mr. Abdurrahman, do you want to share your screen? Let's quickly take you through.
Okay.
So you're a co-host now, please go ahead. Thank you, Miss Gang. Virtual Studio. Why do I keep saying virtual? Visual Studio Code, not virtual machine, please. Do we have Visual Studio Code, VS Code? Mr. Sulaiman, you can share your screen now, please.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, please go to your browser and search for AWS CLI 2.
CLI 2.
Yep. The first link, know that. Yep. Scroll down. Your system is Windows. So yeah. Download that. Know that one. Yep.
Okay.
So I can see the download in progress.
Yeah.
It is almost done. Yep. So open it. Next. Accept. Next. Next. Install. Man, your ISP is blazing. I like that.
Mhm.
So while we are waiting, please go to Google. While we are waiting, please go to Google.
Okay.
Search for VS Code, Visual Studio Code, VS space code. I hope everybody is following this. So we need to install this as well. So click on download. It is an integrated development environment, IDE. Click on Windows. It has
Let's download.
started. Please return back to your installation wizard. Okay, it's still up. All right. So let's the rest of us, please go to Google, search for VS Code, download accordingly. If your operating system is macOS, download the one for macOS. If your operating system is Windows, download the one for Windows. Okay. And now Mr. Sulaiman is about to install his own. I think I'm going to enjoy this session. Everybody is IT compliant. Hold on. Can you back by one step?
Okay.
Create a start menu folder. No, you don't need it. Next. Check create a desktop icon. Yeah. Next. Install. All right, that's it. Let's return to your AWS while that one is installing. So finish. Good. open your command prompt, close it and open it again, the command prompt. Thank you. AWS space hyphen version. All right, that's beautiful. So you can close this. We'll apply it when we need it. Now it's better to have it steady. So let's finish VS Code as well. Click on finish. All right, and now we have our VS Code. So we will also be coming here to deploy services from here as well. We will also use it heavily when we get into IAC infrastructure as code.
Okay.
Okay. SSH client, which one have we been using?
Terminals.
Temios.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
terminals.
Right.
The terminals.
Oh, Temios, that's beautiful. Okay, I think we just stick to that. There are other SSH clients, but Temios is good because it works on almost all the operating systems. So if you already have Temios as an SSH client, that's beautiful. We're good to go. So we've installed CLI, we've installed VS Code. We already have an SSH client, Temios. I mean, we should begin to fly from our next class. Thank you everyone for coming to class. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for interaction. Will there be any question, please? Your VS Code expired. Is that what I'm reading, Mr. Sorry, Miss Gang?
No, I think she means the Termius
Temios
expired.
doesn't expire. Temios will still allow you might just be shut out from some of the versions. I've been using Temios for more than 2 years. I've never paid one day. Okay, so you don't need to reinstall. Okay, it's just that you will not be able to use some services, but the ones you will be able to use is enough. You just need it as an SSH client. Okay, so be of good cheer. Any other questions, please? All right, so if there will not be any other questions, we've come to the end of our inauguration class. I'll see you on Thursday. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.